Hey everybody, I'm your host Laurencia, and this is After the Storm. We got a really special guest today, Singa B.
Thank you.
So nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me. It's
really
amazing.
ready to have a good conversation with you. Get started.
Looking forward to it, yeah.
For sure. So I did some research, and I found out that you've been doing music since you were like 2 years old.
Yeah.
So since a jit. So when did it go from something that you did to something that you are?
It actually never did. It's always, I mean, for me to discover that, probably in my adulthood, but to be realistic, it's always been defined and destined for me to do this. So I just had to align with that particular narrative for me to properly get into what it is that I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you do blues. A lot of men, or what I've seen, a lot of young black men choose like rap or maybe like R&B. So for you, what was it about blues that was like, nah, this is my lane and this is what I'm gonna stick to?
I actually didn't choose blues.
Really?
Yeah, blues chose me. I never liked it, blues. I mean, not in an offensive or derogatory, disrespectful way. I just, as a young person, I just always thought it was an old man's kind of genre, old man sport. But as a musician in Memphis, you play every venue to try to find your lane and find your audience of people, or as in my words, my tribe. I was looking for my tribe of people, and I felt like I've played every plateau, from the small poetry nights and the karaoke's to the halftime at Grizzly shows, and I feel like you never knew who I was, and a lot of other people never knew who I was. So I needed to do something else that was going to define what I need to be doing, because doing these kind of gigs are good for me, but they don't really put the bacon on the table. You know what I'm saying? So
I got you.
I decided to leave Memphis, and I went to Nashville and did like a bunch of cover songs, and that's when one of the owners of one of the establishments that I was doing cover songs in was like, hey, you got any originals? And I was like, yeah, I got rap, I got R&B, I got jazz, like which one you want? And he was like, all right, well, you got any blues? And I was like, nah, I ain't got no blues, but I can come up with some.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how I got to where I'm doing now.
Okay, that's dope. So it definitely did align for you, like you said.
Yeah.
And I also read that you taught yourself like a lot of instruments. So what kind of like mindset do you kind of have to have that persistence and that discipline to teach yourself how to do so many different things?
Literally what you just said, persistency and discipline. The mindset is you're just determined, you know what I mean? Because this was before YouTube, so you're just listening to records, or you're listening to CDs or tapes, and you're playing them over and over and over again. And one thing that my mom used to say was like, she never had to tell me to go practice. She would be like, ask me to stop practicing because I don't practice too much. So you have to just kind of get in that mode to where you have tunnel vision and you kind of really zone out and try to hone in on your craft.
Okay, and then obviously, you're doing that on your own, teaching yourself things, learning from, like you said, listening to music, but you also went to school for music. So you went to Berklee College.
Yeah, I got accepted to Berklee.
Okay. So did you attend?
I did attend. I went the summer before I was supposed to attend, and sat in some classes.
Okay.
But the year that I was supposed to attend, we didn't have the financial amount for the tuition.
I get you.
So I couldn't go.
I get you, okay, because I was going to ask you, was there anything, even just being there for that short period of time, that you kind of learned that, self-teaching didn't really teach you?
Well, I mean, self-teaching is definitely one aspect of where you're aiming towards, but there's nothing wrong with learning from greats and masters and other techniques and skills and other specifically scales and modes and chords and just all of that kind of terminology for musicians. So it definitely would have and did enhance my approach to learning how I wanted to come, step into the game, step into the industry.
For sure. Industry. And you kind of coined yourself the Prince of Blues. So.
Well, I didn't. The lady from the news did.
Okay.
What's her name? Kunja.
On News Channel 3. Yeah, I used to work with her. She's super sweet.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, who would you consider to be the king and the queen of blues in your eyes?
Oh my gosh, the king of blues. I couldn't. There's so many. There's so many of them, and they have their own flavors. It's like saying which one is better, wings or what I'm saying. It's just a time and a place for it. You know what I mean? So
depends on the day.
It's so many greats. As far as queens, it's so many greats. I couldn't pick one. That would be unfair.
I got you. What about a few? Like, who's your favorite just off the top of your head?
Off the top, Lightning Hopkins, Bobby Rush, Son House, of course, B.B. King, Lil Jimmy King, Eric Gales, Eugene Gales, Daniel Gales. These are predominantly Memphis blues artists, to be honest. Albert King, if I haven't already said him. I mean, it's a lot. As far as women, Etta James, Tracy Chapman, Big Mama Thornton, like the list goes on with that.
For sure. And you kind of already answered this question for me, kind of. I feel like a lot of people, especially in my generation, I'm Gen Z, I don't claim it. I think I'm a zillennial. I feel like I was born right in between that time period. But like you said, a lot of people think that the blues is kind of like old, like it's kind of just throwback or whatever. So how do you feel, or do you feel like you're kind of changing the narrative and getting people to see, like, you know, it's youngsters up in here doing this too? Or is that even a goal of yours?
Yeah, for sure. That's my whole MO behind it, because it's young folks that's doing blues. But do you know of any young people that do blues?
I know EJ.
Well, that's the thing. So, and he is a young person who's doing a variation of blues, but technically he's doing more soul or southern soul.
Southern soul.
But when you think of blues, like you would think of B.B. King or something like that, somebody's playing an instrument or who's doing that style of 1-3-5 or 1-4-5 chord progression. But to answer that question, there are young people that are doing blues, but you aren't that familiar with them, and most of them are from here, and they're Grammy Award-winning artists. They were doing the soundtracks for the Sinners movie and so much other stuff. So there's a young band from Memphis called Southern Avenue. There's a young guitar player who's like a sensation. His name is Kingfish. He's just like a beast. There's so many other young musicians. So, but a lot of people don't think of them like how we think of Lil Baby or how we think about
Moneybagg Yo.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Moneybagg Yo, Glorilla, because they young and they're popular. But these young generational artists who are doing blues, they're popular in their community. But the transition to why we or our particular crowd or our where we from, why they can't name their names off top is because those young artists that I named, the Kingfishers and the Southern Avenues, with ultimate respect to them, they're doing a particular style of blues that is a traditional or contemporary, which they're definitely breaking the barriers and putting their own stank and their own flavor on it. But the lane that they're in is like a category that has been known for time throughout the ages. And what I think that I'm doing that's differently is I'm not the first person to do it, but I'm really trailblazing and really passionate about my approach, and it's to mix all of that up. It's to mix. I like to tell people, like, if you could put Kendrick Lamar, B.B. King, mesh them into one. That's like kind of what I'm aiming for. That kind of energy, not the exact style, but I'm aiming for the energy of youth. The lyricism of today, but with the musical approach and expertise of the traditional or the greats. So and it's not easy for a lot of people to do. A lot of producers I try to work with to produce a lot of the songs that I'm doing before I just decided to do it myself, and they couldn't figure out like the rhythm of blues to like syncopate it or quantize or to computerize it to make a beat out of it.
Yeah.
For example, like the boom, dun, 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 now come on, baby, what you want me? So they couldn't like program that style. They can only do instead of So it's a different time signature for musicians and nerds who might know and stuff about that. But for producers, it's more easy for them to kind of like do what they're used to pattern, and blues was something out of the box for them. So, this formula that I'm doing is not hard, but because I've studied and I'm from the home of the blues, and I've spent so many years in R&B and rap, I can see the commonality, but also I can see the missing variable that because they haven't spent the years that I've spent in other areas, how to merge them in. And I just didn't know that I had the ability to do it so well, and I did it, and everybody's like, "Oh, damn!"
Teaching them something, for sure. And you kind of spoke about style a little bit. You blinded me with the grill.
Sorry.
So how does that kind of like play into just like your style? Like you're really just being yourself. So what does that blend, kind of like young but with the old sound? How do you think you execute that?
Yeah, well, blues artists, they've always had gold teeth and they've always worn jewelry and suits, and they had their hair jerry curled and pressed, or however they had it. They were always took their first impression. They took that serious because at that time, black people are always being considered less than, and
Yeah.
even if you did have some worth, it still didn't matter in some occasions. So they always wanted to represent not only themselves, but they wanted to represent where they come from. So for me, it's the same thing today, like with young guys, like our swag is like Calabasas jeans,
Yeah.
a lot of people wearing chains, Cuban links or whatever, how they do. But I feel that jewelry is just, you know, kings have been wearing jewelry. Gold grills, historically in America, goes back to, for some people they say slavery. It was a symbol of free man when they got gold teeth or something.
Yeah.
So it's just really a representation of my culture. It doesn't really quite define who I am, but
Yeah.
it reflects where I come from. And it also gives somebody who's from where I'm from to say, man, he looked like me.
Yeah,
Like
he's
I can
doing
put
it.
that together. But not only that, but what he's doing is like something that I want to do. I want to do something different. And I didn't know you can look like me and do something different. So I want to show that, you know, you can't judge a book by its cover,
No, for sure.
to show them that, you know, you can do this as well. Because a lot of time when we think of blues as young people, we think of an old man sitting in a rocking chair with overalls with his teeth missing, bald on top with a tall can of beer, playing acoustic guitar with
Yeah.
one string on it. And that is blues, but blues can look like this. It can look like you. It
Yeah.
can look like, you know, the white guys who's doing it right now. It can look like anything and everything with respect to what blues is. So
Yeah.
I don't think nobody has quite put it together the way
The way
I'm putting
you
it
have.
together. So
For sure.
I'm representing.
Yeah, that's dope. I gotta
Yeah.
go get me some. Another piece of jewelry ring around your neck, the TRE. I saw that you have Trey Productions, which is like a really big ecosystem of different things.
Yeah.
What kind of promoted you to do that? And is it Trey Productions
Yeah,
or is it
that's- yeah,
TRE?
you're right. Yeah,
Okay, I was wondering if it was like an acronym for something.
It is. It stands for Team Retard It Entertainment, and by retard it means to slow down. A musical term, which means to slow down the process of something. But I take it more as a different kind of approach. It's to where it's a team of us slowing people's the way that we consume and interpret entertainment. And you know, a lot of people, they think that, you know, when they become a sheriff, you know, that they've made it, but then they say, okay, that's not enough. I want to become a detective, and then that's not
a lighter.
Yeah, and you know that idea that you want to become better, or you want to elevate yourself. That's who you are. That's the spirit, the essence of who you are. Not none of those titles. And that's kind of like where I want to kind of bring people back to, kind of slow them down. And a lot of times my mama told me as a kid, you know, slow down. I was always thinking and moving and doing stuff too fast, and not everybody was on the same time I was on. So I kind of like merged the two concepts, and like you said, it has been a pillow. It's been an umbrella for not just artists like myself, but other artists that I love what they're doing, other companies and brands that I feel that need a spotlight. And it's branched off more than just music now. I have a sports division, fashion division, and like I said, I really like to facilitate spotlights, places, platforms for artists, for culinary people who are in that field, for mechanics, anybody who kind of are doing great at what they're doing, but don't have anyone to know, you know, what they're doing. I like to, whenever I get the chance, to really spotlight and cross-collaborate, because I feel that that's where the true definition of currency comes from, us valuing each other and, you know, having an ecosystem in that kind of
amplifying those voices. And I saw something the other day that was like, black people need to go back to like the barter system, where like I help you with this and you help me with this, not necessarily just money, but you know, trying to help us elevate in different types of areas. So I love that. I saw that you also kind of do you do artist development with that? Is something I saw somewhere? Do you feel like that's something that's kind of missing with artists coming up these days, or what's your thoughts on that?
Most definitely. I mean, the industry has never quite been in favor of the artists. It's been in favor of the industry companies, whether that's recording, whether that's distributing, whether that's marketing, managing, production. The artist is always the last one to learn what's the new thing, or to be equipped with the new service or the new technique. And even in our generation, I'm pretty sure you've seen a CD before, a physical CD. So at one point, music was on CDs, and it went to MP3s, and then from MP3s, it's streaming, and now streaming's no longer the equivalent of what's the rate, or the geometric the rate of what's, if you're doing good or not. Now it's like if you're in partnership, and if you're being placed in the right, if you're on the Super Bowl, or if you're in Sprite commercials, because you can have 1 million views, but no one knows who you are. So it shows that like the artist is never the one who's in charge of that aspect of the music experience, we're always the one who's in charge. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you're in charge of the creative aspect. And you know, I think that realistically, that's the only way that it can really change, is that we work together. All of us geniuses, whatever you do, if it's photography, videography, like how we're doing now.
Yeah.
You know, you're great at broadcast, speaking. The photographers and videographers are great with what they do, the studio. So it's all of us professionals creating a particular product that a lot of people can say, oh man, I want to get on that. How do I get? How much I got to pay to do that? And that creates a demand. It creates a brand. It creates a you know, identity, creates a culture that Memphis only has, and it was Memphis bred. So, you know, these kind of concepts, this is the only thing that I really feel that can combat against what has always been not in favor of the artist.
You know your stuff for sure. And you talked about Memphis. So I feel like Memphis is obviously like a special place, and we've been in the news a little bit for a lot of people just kind of talking negatively about the
LeBron
city
and stuff.
Yeah, we just saw some today. The Grizzlies ain't going nowhere. But anywho, just speak to, you know, what Memphis has taught you outside of music and how it's like a part of who you are as a person.
Speak about Memphis and how it did what?
How it, see, you don't make me forget my question. Speak about Memphis and just what it's taught you, what you've learned from just being here, living here, things that people don't necessarily see, or they feel like they think they know stuff and they don't, but it's like Memphis is a part of you. So just speak, you know, show love to the city for real.
Yeah, man, that's a nutshell question right there. I was just talking to the young man who's part of the production team, that you don't even have to be well experienced. You just have to be from Memphis and leave Memphis and go to Japan or London, and you don't even have to open your mouth. They just automatically respect you for how you even got here. You know what I mean? Because they understand the whole story, and they value it and they respect it. Here in America, you have to prove yourself over and 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 over, just to get crumbs. And it's sad, but if I could shed light on it, you know, you can't escape when you leave this place. People automatically know that you're different. They can smell it, they can feel it, they can hear it, they can see it, and it's just because Memphis is a place that is so competitive in so many ways, even if it's just socially, in a social setting, that it subconsciously trains you to become better in other environments where the competition level isn't that extreme, or rather Memphis is more raw with it, and outside places are more slick with it. So because you're used to the raw version of it, you can see the slickness like a mile away. Yeah. So Memphis, it really equips you on being a better person who can see through the patterns of life in all facets. And people from all over the world, they know it and they recognize it and value it. And, you know, unfortunately, not everybody gets to leave Memphis to see it and experience that. But when you do, I really want you to know that that's why people who leave Memphis most of the time never come back. Because there's actually real love out there in the world. There's people who believe in stuff that we feel is old-fashioned or is like old tradition, but you know, because it's so competitive, it's so low amount of opportunities, and everybody's fighting over like 5 opportunities or 5 outlets. In places where the opportunity is more plethora, you get to experience different cultures of people, different, you just get to learn so much about life. So I would really like to wish anybody who's never left Memphis, and I mean by not leave Memphis, Southland Casino is included, Tunica area is included, like I mean by like go to somewhere outside of the tri-state area, and you'll really get to feel the love and feel the respect that Memphis has. A lot of people say, "Oh, you from Memphis? I ain't gonna mess with you." You know, you love Memphis. You might do some criminal stuff, but even then, they know even with that negative approach, that Memphis people have thick skin. So even that speaks volume too. Okay,
for sure. And you just spoke about bringing up my next question, experiencing different cultures, because I saw that you were in Europe doing some stuff over there. So how did it feel to kind of like connect people overseas with that Memphis blues?
Yeah, they couldn't get enough. They couldn't get enough of it. I've been booked to come back, and I'm currently working out dates and stuff. But more so, like I created relationships from that, and it's just so refreshing to be appreciated. I forgot what it felt like to be appreciated. I mean, here in America, not just Memphis, but in America, it's like you're supposed to be good. You know what I'm saying? It's not like if you're good it's not. That's not enough.
It's like, all right.
Yeah,
okay,
it's like,
what's
you from Memphis, you're supposed to be good. You know what I'm saying? So it's like here, you kind of get used to that, and your mind frame is, you're always, it's never enough. Nothing you do is never enough. But out there, the littlest show can get the biggest sign of gratitude, and you can become a local celebrity, and it really means something being a local celebrity, because you don't have to go to a whole nother demographic and try to develop yourself in their economy. It's enough for people to genuinely support you because you're exotic at that point. Now, because you're not from there. But realistically, though, they love it. You know what I mean? They really love it. And I can't get enough of that love. But it's more so I can't just be selfish and leave America. I have to translate that. I have to bring that over here and try to connect those dots. So
that's dope. I'm glad you had a great experience out there. I was gonna say, every time I see like different videos of people like overseas, it's like when people see us or people that look like us, they kind of like starstruck off the dome. Like you don't even have to be performing or doing anything. Them just kind of seeing black people is like never seen that before. So when it's all said and done, what do you want your name to mean in Memphis? What do you want people to take away from your music, your sound?
I want my name to mean, you know, in Memphis, in this life, what a lot of the greats, you know, picking up from where they left off, you know, which is a noble thing to say. It's in a time that we live in today, it's, you know, fighting for the children, fighting for our education, fighting for our health, fighting for the freedom to having our own opinion is almost a dangerous thing to wish for.
Yeah.
And I know that it creates a space, a balanced space. It creates, the opposite of opinion and the opposite of lifestyle, but it also creates space for what we believe in. And you can't have good without the bad, or you can't have in without out, or black without white. But it seems that right now it's just trying to be all bad. And I know nothing lasts forever. Everything has its own season. So in Memphis, I really want to pick up where Dolph left off from, pick up where Martin Luther King left off from, pick up where, you know, everybody who came to this city and saw the opportunity and saw the talent and saw the abilities, really try to create a space, an avenue for that. And I know that that's what everybody who comes here tries to do, but I know that because we're now going against algorithm, and we're going against AI, and we're going against robots. And by against, I mean like they're taking jobs, and that's now our competition. I feel that it's more needed, even more prevalent today, to have a human, organic, driven lane that advocates for real products, real professionals, real people who are trying to advocate pro-life, human life.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. So aside from going back to Europe, what's next for you? What can people be on the lookout for?
Well, I plan on dropping my brand new blues. I actually just dropped a vinyl, brand new blues vinyl.
Dope.
So it's on sale online. You can go on my website, linktree.com/Singa B. And on my Shopify, you can purchase brand new blues vinyl. But, you know, those are a limited edition collector's item, so that's not actually my full album. So I plan on releasing my full project this year. A couple more, or at least one this month, but a couple more before I release the full album, and I want to make sure the visuals are impact with it. So, and trying to really map out how I want to distribute that or put that in the hands of people that really want it.
Yeah.
Because I definitely want to have it on DSP streaming platforms, but I also want to be able to still create that different
nostalgic
experience.
feel.
Yeah.
Dope. Well, let everybody know where they can follow you, keep up with you, and things like that.
For sure. You can check me out on my website, Linktree. That's linktr.ee/Singa B. You can also check me out on Instagram, Instagram.com/Singa Brumfield, on Facebook /Singa Brumfield, YouTube /Singa Brumfield, or Singa B, Twitter. I'm everywhere. If you type in Singa B, you'll find me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. It was a great conversation. You definitely know your stuff, and really excited to see what all you have in store.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Farrell.
I'm Laurencia, and this has been After the Storm. See you next time. Bye.